Chris Lesso here. I want to share with you a video that I just saw, and you can see it in the background. It's on Mr. Steve Smith. And I know you think this is like Ball Drummer Club or something. There are a lot of great ball drummers out there. But this is a really cool video I saw recently where he's breaking down the drum solo he does on the Journey tour in the last couple of years. And if you've seen some of these clips on YouTube, go check them out. They're awesome, of course, which we'd expect from Steve Smith, a drummer who's always improving his craft and is the eternal student and one of my inspirations and great human being and great artist and craftsman and drummer. And what he's doing in this solo, and I really like that he films it, he goes over it, and he posts them. So if you go to his YouTube channel, there's just every city is the solo from the Journey tour. And I've had, I remember in a band that I played in the past, every night I had a drum solo in the same tune, and it was always at the same spot, which is often how bands do it. It's like, all right, we've all had our guitar solos and, a million solos. Now it's like you get your solo, and it's going to be at this spot in the tune. And I can remember like thinking about what to do, and I kind of had like certain signposts of, okay, I'm going to do maybe this general theme here and this theme here and end it. But I found that I would try to cram almost too many ideas into it, and sometimes I was trying to cram too much into one thing, or you almost get manic where it's like, hey, I can do this, then I can do this. And what I love about this video that I just saw where Steve breaks it down is so many things can come from this root, this solid root where it's like branches of a tree all connected to the same thing. Meaning that you can look very deeply into one idea. And if you do that, if you can have the discipline to go really deep into one idea, so many different things can spring from that one thing. And that's what he breaks down in this video that I'm gonna share with you after I'm done talking. I'll put it there and you can check it out for yourself, this video that's playing. But I love that it's like a mastery of simplicity. A mastery of simplicity. And when you see the solo in its final form, so if you see the Journey videos where Steve is just doing a solo, it can seem very complex and very crazy. And sometimes it is. He's doing some very highly executed, fast ideas and there is a lot crammed in there. But there is a simplicity to it, which is beautiful. Beautiful in its simplicity, and it goes deep in its simplicity. So it's all connected to the same tempo, and that's that original tempo, and you'll see him break that down. It doesn't stray from that original pulse, which is really, really cool. And what I love about Steve too is that, and many drummers at that level, is that he's really, really good at a few core things, and he gets so many things out of it. And if you think of like a great martial arts master or something, that's, that old saying, I don't fear the man that has practiced 10,000 different kicks once. I do fear the man that has practiced one kick 10,000 times. So Steve is definitely that kind of drummer, or Steve Gadd and Tony Williams and drummers like that, where they're really good at just a few things. And if you look at, you'll see Steve break this down into different time subdivisions, which is this table of time right here, where you can see I'm breaking that pulse down from ones all the way to 12, and it could even keep going past that. Another drummer is Mike Mangini, that spent a lot of time really getting having mastery over those subdivisions. And once you have that, which is a lot of work to have mastery and sharpness on those subdivisions, but you can go in and out of them and connect them to that same pulse where there's a sense of simplicity. So Indian rhythms, which is, I really encourage you to check Indian rhythms out, because also in those solos is a mastery of the subdivisions of rhythm, the table of time that I just showed you, and also a simplicity running through the whole thing where it seems complex, but it's beautiful in its simplicity. I love that. And so none of these ideas goes out of its original pulse and the original theme. Also, what I love about this is that eventually Steve talks about the salt peanuts idea, which is going back to the Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie history of jazz. So one thing that Steve is the eternal student, he has a strong background in the mastery of the subdivisions in the table of time, but also the history of the instrument, which goes back to, if you have a mastery of history and you can look back, you have so much material to draw upon. If you can go deep into the past and take it even past a century, but go back into the roots of like the African culture and how the roots of the slave trade really created the drum set, starting really at the 1600s, and made its way to the present. Go really deep, and you'll have so much to draw upon. So we truly do stand on the shoulders of the giants that came before us. And yeah, so Steve is the eternal student, so you'll hear some Konnakol Indian rhythms and the jazz thing there. So if we have a strong root, we can really take it into many branches. So I love this, and I loved seeing Steve break it down. And it really was a great reminder to me. Sometimes learning is just remembering things you already know, and just a strong reminder to go back and just to always go back into the things that you already know and just take them deeper and to a new level of mastery. So that's really what this video was about to me, is taking what you already know and just strengthifying it, if I can make up a word, and taking it to that next level and being creative with just a few things. That's what's really cool about this video, is Steve is being super creative with really just a few things. So check it out, enjoy it, and then check out Steve's solos that he posted from the Journey tour on his YouTube channel, and you'll see how every night he's creative with this. Almost like, you give someone Legos, and if that person is in touch with their creativity and their imagination, they'll come up with something different every time out of the same material. And there's a video that I made on my YouTube channel called What I Learned from Steve Smith. So there's many things I've learned from him and been inspired. So also check that out. So enjoy the video, watch it a few times. There's a lot there, and bring it into your own playing and your life. Have fun with this.
Usually each night I play a solo on the tune Ladu Day, and it's a shuffle. So each night I'll try to come up with something new to keep it interesting for me. I don't play the same solo every night. I do know that I'm going to be playing the solo in that tune, and so I know it's going to end at a shuffle, it's going to begin with a shuffle, and then in between it can do, I can go wherever I want to go. My tendency is to try to keep it all in time. So if you hear what sounds like tempo changes or metric modulations, they're still related to that original shuffle feel. So like one of the ideas that I might use is with the shuffle is like 1, 2, 3, and then I'll do something where I play in 3. So it's one. So if I play triplets, accent every fourth beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then if I go 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm back to that triplet feel. So that's an example of a metric modulation. Other times I'll do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just like slow down one rate. The pulse is still the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, taka tak dum ta, taka 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 dum, taka taki to dum, taka 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 dum, taka taki to taka. Now if I play a 4 in that, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I'm in the 5 rate, but I'm like now playing in 4. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. And the ostinato is like a samba with both these 1, 2, 1, 2, and I move the left foot between the hi-hat and the left pedal. And then if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, go back 5, 1. Keep that quarter note the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. And back to that original triplet feel like that. Or I could go from that. Sometimes I go up to 7. Takadimi, takada, takadimi, takada. Takadimi, takada, takadimi, takada. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just double time. Salt peanuts, salt peanuts. Back to the triplet. Or halftime. So I try to do something interesting for me every night and just work on different ideas. Another approach is if I play that original tempo, but you hear it goes into like a 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With a foot ostinato like that, and then something like drum also waltzes on top. So there could be any number of things that I'll work on to keep it interesting.